Hey, what's going on, folks? Welcome back to the neighborhood. I'm John, your favorite neighbor kid, and I'm coming back again to play some Dwarf Fortress today. This is the Steam version, the Steam front-end version for one of my favorite games of all time. One of the games that is the functional predecessor to RimWorld, and it's a game that has been in development since the early 2000s. Possibly like 2002. And when I say in development, it is always changing, always new things being added to it. Many people have been turned off by it because its original version uses a kind of an ASCII art sort of situation, and the UI is a little bit inaccessible at times. Plus, the learning curve can be a bit steep, and that's kind of an understatement. I'm really excited to get to play this. Honestly, I have been waiting for this for a very long time, and you can actually get the game for free. The original game for free from the creators. They work on donations for the most part, but this version of the game contains the regular game and then is a front end that has more UI option or much better UI system for it. So it's real. I'm really excited about this. It's not as intense graphically as RimWorld is because it's based on ASCII, but let's get started. It's by and large a simulator. So what you have to do is when you start a game, you actually have to start a new world, much like in RimWorld, actually. All right, welcome to Dwarf Fortress. Prepare to guide your stout charges to fortune in a world fraught with many perils. You'll begin by creating your world and watching the region's history unfold. Once this process is complete, you can prepare a group and send them out to seek wealth deep in the mountains. As you dig deeper and more citizens take up residence in your outpost, your doings will attract attention, both wanted and unwanted. Deal with challenges as they arise, and you might one day find that your humble settlement has grown to become a mountain home, the center of your civilization. All right, we're gonna create a world, and here's the thing. Here's an important thing. When you create a world, any save that you make in that, you can only have one save per world. You can have, I think, as many worlds as you want, but you can only have one settlement in that world active at a time. So that's an important thing to note. We're just gonna create on the basics here. So we're just gonna hit create world. We're gonna allow it. It goes through and it's a simulator, a story generator, functionally, kind of like RimWorld says it is. So it actually goes through and it will create an entire history in addition to, the world as a whole. And you can see it's actually generating it right now. It's running, the rivers and all that, and it's really cool. You generate the world, and then you get to pick an embark place. I think I'm going to try to, if it will allow me, I'm going to try to run the tutorial again because, like I said, this has a steep learning curve, and it has been years upon years since I've played this game. So there's been many updates since then. A lot of changes have been made to the game, but one of the big differences between RimWorld and Dwarf Fortress is Dwarf Fortress, you cannot directly control the actions of your dwarves or your pawns in RimWorld, but dwarves in this. Let's see. Oh no. Let's see. All right, so that's the world that we saved, and you can actually examine it in closer detail. I don't know when the history is generated, honestly, but it generates like the entire world. It used to generate like I think hundreds of years in the past, including like prehistoric times. But I think you can, So there's actually a few different versions, or a few different things you can do. Legends, actually, if I remember correctly, this is just basically examining the history of the world. Adventurer is very much like Rogue. It's you get a single adventurer and you roll around and you fight things in the darkness and all sort of stuff. It's pretty good. It's active, as I understand it. It works in the original version of the game. I don't know to what depth they've actually developed it, but Fortress mode is the one we want, so that's the one we're going to do. All right, passing a few weeks to get things ready. And honestly, I'm really hoping. Yes, perfect. Okay. Quick start and short tutorial. Would you like your fortress located in a forested, mineral-rich region of this world where you can play through a short tutorial? Non-interactive help will be available whatever you decide. And that's actually a huge thing. A huge difference that has been made is it used to be there was absolutely no hand-holding. And I don't know if that's actually an update for this version of the game or otherwise. We are definitely going to start with the tutorial. It's going to pick us a nice place to start. We're zooming in on the region of the map that we are actually going in. That's the thing. It's a huge world that it makes, and you can make it even bigger, which is wonderful. All right, a dwarven outpost. You have arrived after a journey from mountain homes into the forbidding wilderness beyond. Your harsh trek has finally ended. Your party of 7 is to make an outpost for the glory of all Aerith Camille. I don't know what that means. You're going to come across a lot of things that's very confusing to you, but it's all like the dwarfish name, and so a lot of times they will give you the kind of English translation afterward. Like for instance, right down here. But there are almost no supplies left. But with stout labor comes sustenance, whether by bolt, plow, hook. Provide for your dwarves. You are expecting a supply caravan just before winter entombs you, but it is spring now. Enough time to delve secure lodgings ere the jaguars get hungry. A new chapter of dwarven history begins here at this place. Ettuledtur, grooved boulder, strike the earth. All right. So we're gonna go through camera controls. Your view is focused on one elevation at a time. You can move your camera around WASD. You can also scroll the ground by middle clicking and holding. And you can shift elevation. That's another important distinction to be made. RimWorld doesn't have elevation. It has 1 Z level. Dwarf Fortress, on the other hand, many Z levels. Like, an incredible amount. Okay. All right. So we've got that. All right. And hold shift to move faster. So that's actually an important thing. Shift is often a function in this game that will increase the magnitude of anything. All right. When your view is in the air above other tiles, you can see them below, but you can only interact with objects on your current elevation. The view will be dark underground until you begin mining. You can move the camera to the surface with the surface button highlighted. And the surface button is right here. I gotta say, I really love the UI. Animation and stuff is pretty much non-existent in this game. It's very rudimentary, but the presentation from what it was originally has changed so much, and it's amazing. It is amazing. I'm loving this. Okay. The view... Yeah, will be dark underground. The F1 hotkey will recenter on your wagon. Okay, cool. You can zoom in and out of the play area using the square brackets or control the mouse wheel, and that actually zooms the size of your map, so you can see more. All right, so we can hit OK. All right, it's time to get to work. Let's start by digging a stairwell into the ground. There may be plenty of hillside to dig into, but you'll want to seek wealth below the surface. Yeah, that's an important thing. You can dig into, like, the hillside. There's a hill, well, it's not much of a hill right here. Looks like the hill, actually, if you see the map in the top corner, it actually goes with the Z level as it's going up. It's very gently sloping hill. Nothing particularly intense. All right. So there may be plenty of hillside to dig into, but you want to seek wealth below the surface. Mining tasks are designated on the play area. Begin by clicking the highlighted mining button. All right, so this is the mining button right here, and there are several ways to mine. Stairwells start one elevation and are completed at the next. Click the surface, move the camera down 1 level, and click the underground. Reversing the order also works. So you click to dig a stairwell, and we're gonna pick, I'm gonna want to put, I'm going to want to put the stairwell. The starting stairwell, we'll do a 3x3, and we'll kind of, I think we'll just actually put it right here. We'll just put it right here. So you can, here's the thing about stairs. It's kind of weird in how this game works. You can make things look really nice, or you can be weird like me. And I will, oh, that's no good. Okay, so there's a couple water sources I see, and you can actually, I don't want to build them. I don't want to build too close to water that we can see above ground. So actually, what I will do is I will start the, okay, we can see there too. And also there's so many different kinds of ores and things in this game. Like RimWorld has, you know, compacted steel and gold and silver. This has gold, silver, platinum, feldspar, cinnabar, hornblende, all the different things that you can get, and you can even do things with them specifically. Some they all act as the ores or whatever that they would be. All right, so let's start up top here. Let's go ahead. Let's build 3x3. We're gonna come in closer here, and we'll do it right here, and then we'll move down one level. So there. Excuse me. So that what that does is that creates a downstair here and an upstair here. All right. Now we'll unpause the game and let the miner finish the task. Press space to unpause, or the highlighted play button at the top. You should pause regularly when starting out, and that's absolutely true. All right. So they actually have to dig on the top layer before they create the bottom layer, which is a little strange. But it looks like we've dug into, I believe, sand here. Usually we can get we're given more information when we mouse over things, but that might come up later. All right, let's make a safe place to work. Start by select regular mining mode to the left of stair mining mode. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by, I think I have to do this again. I'm going to start by re-digging stairs, and we're going to go a little bit deeper. And this should make it, it's a little temperamental. You have to be careful when designating stairs that you're extending. But we'll try that. We'll see how this goes. I hope this doesn't screw up. Okay. Yeah, so you see how this is an up-down stair? That's an important distinction. If you have something like a down stair above it, and then below it there's no up stair, like this one right here, they won't connect. So I accidentally made a situation where I created downstairs directly below other downstairs, and I had to create a situation where they couldn't, where I had to make it so they could get back up. It was a little complicated. We're gonna let them mine down. We'll read through this as they're mining down, and here you can see they've gotten into an actual rock layer. Dig a rectangle underground big enough for a large stockpile and some workshops. Consider that most workshops are 3x3 squares. Mining through the stone layers further down may take longer, but it leaves boulders, which are essential building material. Later, consider making a meeting area from the zone's menu. Otherwise, your citizens will continue to gather by the wagon outside. All right, so we're gonna go down. We'll go down here, and I think we'll just kind of make a nice. What I want to do is this, and I got to be really careful because during the tutorial you don't have access to all of the like erasing and stuff. So I want to leave some pillars in around, just mostly for aesthetics. But you don't have the erasability. Also, I want to have double doors, or two different doors entering this area here. And we're just going to create some real basic here. So we'll create something larger here, and then actually let's create something like that. And then we're going to have a few little offshoots, and none of this is necessary. It's important to note that you can, wherever you have open tiles in a 3x3, you can place workshops down. for the most part. All right, so let's let them run. Let's let them dig out this area. We'll put the stockpile in the center, and then we'll put some workshops in these 3x3 areas here. Yeah, this is a long start to the game, in all honesty, but it really has a great effect, and the fact that because it has that's hematite, I believe. All right, so yep, lignite, hematite. Lignite is great. That's I believe I can't remember how things work exactly, but all right, the room is completed. I can say okay. We're gonna keep it going. Ooh, what did we hit here? That's important. The supplies on the wagon are in danger of being carried off by wild creatures. It's time to build a stockpile underground to unload them. Stockpiles are crucial to moving supplies around your fortress where they're needed. Stockpiles are placed with the stockpile button. Click it now. Okay. Click the stockpile button, and now click the add button. Click two corners of the rectangle somewhere safe to place your pile. Stockpiles can be placed on both on the surface and underground. Once the pile is placed, click accept, and then excuse the vehicle outside. Click accept, and then select the all option. Okay, so I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna give this a little bit of time. Actually, we don't have to. We can expand it later. I don't want to include stockpile area or like workshop areas. So I'm just going to place it here, and I don't even have to select this entire area because it's only going to place a stockpile in open squares. So which you'll see just like that. And then you can resize stockpiles and all that, but you can say accept. So we've got that, and then we're going to say this is what generally goes in the stockpile, and there's even a more in-depth custom, but we're going to hit all for now. All right. If on pause, your workers should start unloading. You see them bringing all their stuff down here. Should start unloading the wagon into the stockpile. Later, you may want to customize your stockpiles by clicking on them and pressing the custom button to forbid certain categories, like refuse, for example. A separate refuse stockpile is a good idea to keep your fortress clean. The stockpile menu is still open. You can close it now by right-clicking. Right-clicking can always be used to close most menus as well as escape. So, with shelter already underground, it's time to build. First, you need building materials like wood or boulders. So we're going to go back up to the surface here. Before you start chopping down trees, you may also want to create a dedicated wood stockpile. Haulers will also drop wood in your all stockpile unless you turn it off by the custom stockpile menu. When you're ready, open the woodcutting menu and designate the trunk of a tree on the surface. Make sure your woodcutter can walk to the designated location. And if you notice, another big difference between this and RimWorld is that trees are, because they have multi-level, you can see the actual tree growth. They're really big, and it's great, and I love it. Okay, so here's the thing we're gonna do. We're gonna take that advice that they gave us. We're gonna create a separate stockpile over here. That one is going to be for wood, and later we can actually do custom, and we can say we want to include stone in here as well. Then we can go all economic other stone. I'm going to leave clay out just because. All right, so there's that. Well, we can right click to get out of that, and so we have a custom one that accepts wood and stone. Now, in this one, I will go into custom, and then we're going to change it. We're going to take out the kinds of stone that we designated, and also the wood. So things that go in here will not go in here, and vice versa. All right, and we can also, I believe, repaint this. Yeah, so we can expand this out, and then you hit accept for that. So now that, our general stockpile is much bigger, and then we have our wood/stone stockpile here. All right, and let's go to the surface, and let's actually get some of this wood cutting done. And you can designate multiple things to be cut at the same time, but this is important. If you select only one, you want to click twice so that you actually engage with cutting the thing. All right. So we've designated a few things for wood cutting. Yeah, and then it says you can right click. Now we just need to wait for the woodcutter to chop down the tree. If the fallen logs are accessible, here we go. That's nice that they turn into logs immediately. Everyone will help store them in the stockpile. You can right click to close the woodcutting mode. Right clicking closes most menus, as you know. If all your stockpiles are full, go ahead and place another one. Okay. So we do have to create a dedicated wood stockpile. I'm going to create another one. Just a small one right here that is strictly for wood, just so that we can designate that. There we go. We've stockpiled some wood. Go, okay. We're gonna go like that. And then can paintbrush the size of this one to increase it. We'll do the same with this one over here to increase the size. Now, it's important to note that stone and wood in their raw forms, I believe, cannot be stored in any containers. So they just take up space on the ground like that. There are containers you can make, but we'll get into that. Now that you have the building materials, it's time to start building. Workshops are one of the buildings you can place with a highlighted build button. Click it now. So workshops, most workshops require building materials such as wood or boulders. If you have some wood stockpiled, you'll be able to place a carpenter's workshop. Click Workshops, Carpenter, place a shop in an empty area on the surface underground. On the surface or underground, because you can do either. So we're going to go in here. I'm going to pause just for a second. We're going to go into Carpenter, and we're going to place our Carpenter right there. Now, we pick the materials that we're made out of, and it tells you the amount of each. Some things will need other things, and you do need all the materials, and some things will need crafted, previously crafted items, like an anvil or other things to actually create it. So it's important to note, some things you might need to have other objects to actually make. Let's see, we've got an abundance of Pamela wood logs, so that's what we're going to use to create it. And we're running, we unpause it, and someone is building it as we are speaking. And it's completed. All right, we're clicking on it. And your industrious citizens will perform any task added to the workshop. Most objects that are placed, like doors and furniture, must be built at a workshop. That's important. You have to create doors and everything to be placed. It's very different. It's very different from regular. Oh no. That's a problem. We got to go look at that, but and I think I screwed that up a little bit, but anyway, let's see. Oh no, we're still good. We're paused right now. Furniture created at the carpenter's workshop actually takes 1 wood to build. Add a task to make a bed. So we're going to add a task to make a bed, and make a bed is at the top. Normally, if you look at it, it's normally wooden and then alphabetical, but bed is not prefaced by wooden, so it's just bed. And we've got that to the queue. Now we chop down more trees if necessary, unpause and wait for the bed to be completed. So I am going to allow that to go. And we'll see, hopefully someone come down. Let's see. Oh no, something collapsed on the surface. That's a problem. I don't know what collapsed. Now here's the thing. Your game is not going to keep track of things for you necessarily. See how these things up here they have the little tilde next to it? It means it's roughly how much you have. You have to actually, there's game things that will increase the sensitivity, the accuracy of counts and stuff. Like you can assign a manager and give him, it's very in-depth, very complicated. And we got someone making the bed right now. So that's good. This game is one of my all-time favorites. All right. Now that you have a bed, you can place it in the fortress. Use the build menu to place it in a room underground, just like the workshop. dig a new room first if you like. Beds are found in the furniture category. Unlike workshops, beds must be placed underground. And I don't know if that's necessarily true to underground. It definitely means that they do have to be placed under something with a roof. They cannot be placed outside. I don't know if that is fully true. So let's go. We can actually. What I'm going to do is, I think we will. I'm going to build further down. Yes. Okay, good. And then we will, once we're down further, I'm just going to do another sort of area like we had originally, or like we had upstairs. And once we get all the tools, we'll be able to do this much easier. Like be able to select the whole box and then just cut out the last few, or it's much easier. It's much nicer. We're going to create that, and then we're going to create just a small little, I say small, we're going to create a little hall with some doors here. And to start, I'm going to just create we're actually just going to leave this room. We'll have everybody stay in this room. It's going to be a hallway later, and then we'll build rooms off the top. If I can manage, I want to keep the mining to a minimum for the most part. But immediately, we can go ahead and go to furniture, put a bed down, and when you place a bed, it asks you which bed you want to place. So when you make multiple beds out of different materials, you'll have a lot of different things to be made. All right. So we created that. Someone's going to haul it down and install it right there. All right. With a bed placed, your workers will have somewhere to sleep. Later, you can create a room with a door and use the zones menu to assign an official bedroom for each resident. All right. The rest of the interface is now enabled. You can click on creatures and items just as you can click on buildings to get more information about them. Click on a resident to see their needs, inventory, thoughts, relations, and more. You can also access information from the citizens button. Click on a citizen or creature. All right. There we go, right there. So we've got Eden Zonschaled. Eden, and this is the translated name. Iden Helmed Clutches. I love it. They have a whole language generator thing for this, and it's amazing. All right. Feel free to pause and check out the information. Right-click to dismiss the information sheet and all that. So you can actually look at them. As an adept miner and a skilled appraiser. Everybody has skills, much like in RimWorld, and they can all be developed. I think there's only... I think most can do all of them. There's only certain things that like they won't be able to do because maybe they're missing an arm or something, or they require certain things. But they've got all kinds of stuff. You can see thoughts, personality, all sort of stuff. What they're carrying, and it's wonderful. Okay. I did not right-click, but let's do that. All right. Okay. Important and sometimes urgent information is given as alerts on the left side of the screen, which we were introduced to earlier. There have been a few already. Hover over an alert icon to see the information. Left click on an alert for recentering options, and right click to dismiss an alert. All right, so this gives you more information, and then we can right click. But this gives you like, oh, you struck magnetite. Magnetite, that's great. That's an iron ore. Bauxite, I don't know what kind of ore that is. And then you can even zoom to an area. It will zoom in on the area that you struck it at, so it'll show you where to go. So like right here we have this I don't know what this is. Usually there's an indicator that will actually tell you when you mouse over something, it will tell you what that section is made of. All right, this is an example urgent alert. These are very important. Ignore them at your own peril. All right, very good. All right, You may need supplies before the coming of winter to trade with the autumn caravan. To trade with the autumn caravan, you must build a trade depot. My goodness, from the build menu. You need something of value to trade. Crafts are an easy way to make a lot of trade goods quickly. Make the appropriate workshop with workshops crafts. So we're going to go into workshops. We're going to do a crafts workshop, and I'm going to put that right here. And we can make that out of whatever we've got available. It is important to note it's best to make things out because wood is a limited resource that is needed to be farmed. It's not limited. It can regrow, but it's needed to make things like beds specifically. Beds can't be made out of stone, and at least one other thing. I think like barrels and bins can't be made out of stone, and those are the things that can hold multiple items. So it can getting bins and barrels is extremely important. Barrels for liquids specifically and food items, although they can be used for anything, but barrels have to be used for liquid items. You can store multiple things in there, and it's important to start making barrels and bins pretty quickly because that can organize things up really nice. An obvious material to use to make crafts is rock. If you dig down enough layers, you will find a near infinite amount of boulders of various kinds, as well as some rough gems if you are lucky. Gems can be cut at the jeweler's workshop and crust them on crafts and other items to add even more value. Because there's a trade system to this game. You want to create things that you'll be able to trade with other civilizations or other settlements, so that you can get things that you need from them. And they'll even have trade agreements where like you can ask them for the next time they come by to bring you certain things that you can buy, so you can prepare for that. They will mark up the price for it, but they will make sure to bring them for you. All right, there's a lot more to learn. As you enter new menus, there will be new information and there'll be information and tips. The help button at the top up here contains more guides. Click it now, and this tutorial will be concluded. All right, so this is our huge list of things that we need to do here, which is wonderful. This didn't cover quite a few things, but we are going to get started. We're going to actually start moving things around. We're not going to be running too much longer on this episode, but maybe another 10 minutes. We'll see. We want to have a stone worker because we got to have someone to to work with the stone that we're getting to get it out of the way, honestly. Also, we're going to add some more beds in. I think we've got a population of 7, so we need roughly 7 beds. So we've got one already, so we can make 6, and I'm gonna let them make that. Now, once the stoneworkers workshop gets completed, we're gonna add doors to be made. I'm gonna actually have this one be repeated. So they're gonna keep making doors as much as they can. I'm also gonna have them make rock blocks. And I'm going to have rock blocks twice. Happens twice. What happens is one of these is completed, it's added to the back of the list. So if I want to make twice as many blocks, I have to put it in twice. Let's look at some other things that can be made. We've got a quern. We've got a millstone. These are things that are required for specific things. We can make statues, but we're also going to make tables, because much like in RimWorld, eating without a table, I believe, does create... I actually don't know about this. I can't remember. I believe it does. It creates unpleasant thoughts. And here's the thing. It only works one, like any dwarf that's eating at a table will take up the entire table. It's only a 1 square. So if you want to have bigger tables, you have to create multiple tables. And that's getting ahead of myself. All right. Now, rock creates thrones. Wood creates chairs. Wood and, I think, metal make chairs. So they have the same function, but they're called different things. So we get rock thrones and tables. I am going to go ahead and move the table up as well as the throne. And I think, honestly, I'm going to take the blocks, the extra block out so that we can get through those. All right, so we've got one door already. Let's go ahead and doors and hatches. Let's create a door. Let's go ahead and put it right there. We've got the one jet door. It's perfect. Okay. So other important things that need to be considered. We need to, you can see here, this is a white sand area. If we dig into this, except for right here, this papaya tree roots, so we're really close to the surface, so we're gonna be dealing with a lot of trees right underground here. But to start out, most of the food items and like things that we can grow are going to be only able to be grown underground at the start until we can get other seeds for things. But most dwarven food items are only available underground to be grown. So we're going to start by doing an exploratory mining expedition under here. And then we'll create an area that we can create some farm plots so we can grow some food of our own. And we've probably made some more beds. Let's go ahead. We're going to pause. Well, we can keep things going. Put another bed down. There we go. And then actually what we can do too is we can create a bed and we can also click keep building after placement. So if we want to create more than one, we can put them down like this. And again, since there are 7, apparently we made 8. Oh, no, we didn't make 7. Perfect. All right, so our beds are there. I'm going to see if we have our doors available. Nope, no doors yet. So what I'm going to do is take a look at this. I'm going to take out blocks for right now. I'm going to make rock doors the highest priority just so that we make it more accessible immediately. I want 2 of them. So I can actually go ahead and just throw another rock door right in like that. That's not going to be repeated. All right, so that's being constructed. This is dug out. And we can gauge from the surface where we're going to be able to farm for the most part. So we can actually, if we want to dig around roots and the like. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to actually designate these trees to be cut. All right. Now I know a good amount about this game, but I don't know everything. It's always changing. There's new stuff every time. A lot of my information is years out of date. But we're going to create a farming plot. I'm going to create one there. I'm going to create one there. And it's important that to note that you can only create farm plots on things like loam or dirt or sand. And the deeper that you go, the better the yield for the farm plot is going to be. So after you've designated the farm plot, they have to be created. People will come and they'll construct them. And then once it's fully constructed, you have to tell what to grow. Its best thing to start with is going to be plump helmets, which are basically they're mushrooms. But mushrooms that can be eaten plain, they can be brewed into alcohol, which is what dwarves drink. And you can also cook them into food. So that's the thing. That's what we're going to start with that. And that's going to be your primary. That's more or less going to be your primary staple. And so in the first couple areas, what I'm going to do is plump helmets, and you have to go for the different seasons. and plump helmets. And if you want to, you can do you can set it to fertilize every season and the like, but you don't have to. And here I'm going to start getting pigtails, and pigtails are your primary source of like fibers for fabrics and the like. But things that don't grow all seasons, in the other seasons I will usually grow plump helmets, just you know, just to get things going. Let's see, what do we want to grow here? I think I'm gonna go with cave wheat. Cave wheat, I believe, is spring through autumn. Nope. All right, so that's just to start. Everybody's gonna go plant that. And there's designations that you can make. You can mess with so many things. There's quite a few things that you can make. And it looks like we had a problem. Okay, summer has arrived on the calendar. That's nice. And an animal has grown into become a stray dog. So that means a puppy grew up to be a stray dog. And there's a lot of other things that you have to be done. Unfortunately, that is time that we have for today. Let's see. Inappropriate dig square. Uh-oh. That's worrisome. I think we're fine. I don't think anything bad really happened. But struck gypsum. That's nice. And dog is fighting. There's lots of information to this game. But yeah, we're going to cut it off here today. I want to thank everybody for coming out. It's always fun to play games with you folks, and I've been waiting for a long time to play this game with you all. This is, again, one of my all-time favorite games. It's always being developed. You can get the game for free from the developers if you don't mind the ASCII art, or you can get it on Steam for, I think, $30 right now, $30. It's a great game, and like I said, always being developed, and you can even donate to the authors or the writers of the game. They basically subsist off of donations, and they have for the last, I think, 15 years or something like that. It's pretty impressive. Anyway, thanks for coming today. If you want to support me, I appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, that junk. Also, you can come join the neighborhood on Discord, chat with me or everyone else, or you can even check me out on Twitch. Live streaming on the weekends, Saturday, Sunday, usually around noon to 4:30, if I can make it. More guidelines than anything. You can find links for those in the description below or on the main page on the top right. But honestly, everything you do does work, including watching, and watching is honestly the best thing you can do. Or you can even tell other people about me. I'd love that. I don't advertise or anything, so that's how I get out there. But with that, thank you so much for checking out the video. From my house to yours, I'm John the Neighbor Kid, and I will see you folks next time. Bye-bye now.